Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Fortnite Battle Royale video. In tonight's video, we're going to be talking about the best controller aka console settings for Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 1. If you could drop a like on this video, that would be absolutely amazing. There were some new settings, including one thing that can really help with the edits on console, which we're going to talk about, as well as go through all the settings in this video. Smack a like. Let's go ahead and go for 420 likes. That would be amazing if we could hit that. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and let's go ahead and get right into it. So the new thing that was added with these settings, it has been a while since I've talked about my settings, so I will go through and talk about all of them in this video, but we'll start off by talking about what is new today with this update, and that is the confirm edit on release option, which is available for controller players. And basically what this does, confirm edit on release, is normally if I was editing, and what I use for my edits is I would use my left stick to start my edits, and I would use my circle, which was the back paddle on my SCUF controller, to confirm the edits. So before this option was available, basically to make an edit, you would have to click a button, whatever your edit button is, then you'd have to click the slots or the squares you want on the actual edit wall, ramp, whatever it is in front of you, and then you'd have to click to confirm. Now what this option does basically allows you to confirm edit on release is what it's called, and it allows you to do exactly as it says. Instead of confirming by pressing another button, basically you just hold down that right trigger and you hold it down over the three squares. Say we're doing a simple L-shaped edit on a wall, then the second you let go, it will instantly confirm that edit. So it basically takes away the option, or takes away what you need to have as a confirming button, which is a big deal. It isn't as big of a deal for a player like myself who had a SCUF gaming controller, because I was able to use the paddle on the back to just be confirming those edits. But for people using DualShocks or normal controllers, or even people with SCUFs, still is a big deal, because it basically just eliminates that option completely. Now all you have to focus on, and what I 100% suggest going with, and I know there's many ways you can do the edits, but I think on controller the best way now, especially without having to confirm, is that left stick, and basically have an auto sprint on, so when I'm pushing forward I'm automatically sprinting, and when I'm clicking that down I'm going for the edit, and then I'm releasing the right trigger. So I know a lot of people are talking about this basically confirm edit on release because it's brand new. Of course people are a little bit iffy about it, but trust me, get used to this. This is something that will be amazing and will just make it a lot smoother. It will allow you to go from, if you're a good editor, to a great editor, and if you're someone that's more beginner or medium level at editing, it'll make it a lot smoother and easier because there's less things you have to focus on. If you head into creative mode, turn this option on and definitely play around and test it out is a good way to get used to this, but it's something that I think is very strong as of right now. As far as other settings go, let's go ahead and talk about all. I'm going to show all of them, but let's talk about the important ones first. Here I'll show my controller sensitivity. Now this is one that this was changed up. This used to be, I used to use a 6.6 sensitivity, and then I used a 0.43 ADS sensitivity. That stuff has all been put into the back burner a little bit ago, and now we have a little more simpler area to control your sensitivities. You can also go into advanced options with this. Now personally, I don't use the advanced options. On the advanced options, you can tweak your aim assist. Me personally, I want that thing fully turned up. If you're a console player, you want to have your aim assist at 100% probably. You can also, the advanced settings are good if you want to do slowdowns when you're 90ing, if you want to change the speed up of your build speeds as you're 90ing. Personally, the way that mine is, it feels completely smooth and fine with the 90s anyway, so I haven't really messed that up. And the other thing the advanced settings are great for is if you want to have a different X sensitivity versus your Y sensitivity, or horizontal or vertical. So if you want to be able to maybe move side to side a bit quicker, but up and down a bit slower, which is a way that a lot of people do. Personally though, I just stick with something that's simple. I've never really had a problem. This is the way that I think about it, is that I've never really had a problem of a sensitivity or an aiming issue where it's like, oh my gosh, my sensitivity was way too high there. I should have had to slow down here or there. If that was a problem, I probably would go into the advanced settings and deal with that. But personally, my mentality is more of a, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And comfortability is, settings can really screw you up. If you have it way too high or way too low, it can absolutely screw you up. But if you're constantly messing with and tweaking things as well, that can screw you up also. You want to have something that's consistent and comfortable. And these are similar ranges that I'm on. So I'm on right now a 6 for the look sensitivity, which is the same as I was on before, and a 4 for the aim sensitivity. So staying pretty standard to what what I was when they were back on the first page. And then when it comes to the build mode and the edit mode, here these build off of what your look sensitivity is going to be, basically, right, or your original sensitivity. So I have a 1.5 on the build mode, which I find works nice for me, and my edit mode a 1.4. Those are just what works nice for me. Personally, the thing with building is you want this one to be as fast as possible. If there's, you can't spin around fast enough in your build sensitivity and shots are sneaking through, that can be a mistake. Normally the time when shots sneak through on me is just because I'm in a bad position or I don't have the right aim, and not necessarily my speed with my sensitivity. So I leave that fine. Those are what I rock as far as sensitivities, and I'm able to have a consistent shot while also being smooth and fast with the build and editing. Editing, personally, is just about hitting your spots, especially now with this new mode. You just have to hit those spots and let the machine do the rest of the work for you, basically. You don't have to be super duper quick. You just have to be boom. I mean, most of my edits are going to be 3 L-shaped edits anyway on a wall, or maybe making a square in the middle of a wall to shoot a player. Those sort of edits, you don't really need to have the fastest edit sensitivity. You just have to be precise, because clicking those squares, it's a lot more demanding, and the precision, your accuracy has to be a lot higher than placing just walls with your build sensitivity. So that's what I rock as far as those settings. Like I said, if you do use advanced ones, I know that the main reason is to mix up your horizontal and vertical. Personally, I don't really do that as much. Now, what I rock with as far as my controller, my combat controls, I talked about this before, talking about how I use the left stick to do those edits, and I would use the basically my paddle on the back, or a circle button circle button is my paddle on the back with my Scuff controller. Use code Goblin for a discount on Scuff controllers if you do use those, or you want a controller like that. Link in the description. But basically, now I don't need to worry about that because of the new settings. So I just have Classic Builder Pro straight up, and then I take away the sprint button and I add it to sprint by default, where as soon as I push it forward, I'm sprinting, which does get a little confusing if you're a Call of Duty player hopping back and forth, because they don't have that option, at least on the latest Call of Duties. But that is definitely the best way, because it then frees up that button to do all of your edits off of, which is, if you're still doing a hold to edit time, you just won't be able to survive. You won't be able to improve, especially we're on Fortnite Chapter 2 now. I was stuck on that for a long time as well, because I didn't want to put in, I guess you could say, or I was nervous of change, or not nervous, but I didn't want to put in the time to relearn something. But it really isn't all that hard. Your muscle memory works a lot better than you think. And even though if you've been practicing and learned something for a year or two straight, if you mix it up like this edit thing, and even if you're click and confirm, it doesn't really mess you up, because that button is not doing anything else either. It makes your stuff a lot quicker, and creative mode is 100% the best way to adjust to settings changes or to adapt and deal with different things. So that's what I rock as far as my sensitivities, as far as my combat controls. Now let's go through just the normal settings that everyone sort of wants to know with. Here, what I rock with, basically I turn off the spectator count, just because I've always just had it like that. I don't know. I'm never someone that really, like, I don't care if people are watching me, or 0 people or 3 people. I just want to focus on my game. What else do I have here? I have toggle sprint I have off, but then sprint by default, that is the one you want to have on if you do not want to be clicking that thing down. It also does save your thumb a little bit. Whenever there's like a new game or a new season or a new Call of Duty game or whatever it is, sometimes your thumb will hurt from smashing that sprint in. And I've actually, controllers, I've had to replace that button specifically, or that, I guess it's not a button, or it's a whatever it's called, thumbstick that's also operates as a button, many times over the years on my controllers, because of similar situations like that. So that is nice to have. Sprint cancels reload. You want to have that off, because you're going to have to sprinting and reloading out of storms is a consistent thing that happens quite often, actually, in this game, more often than you would think it does. Tap to search and interact. Definitely you want to have that one on. I had that one off like for my first couple months or 6 months of playing Fortnite, or maybe even longer, but turning that one on is a world changer, because you just click and you just don't have to worry about the chest. You don't have to worry about the revive, whatever it is. It gives a lot of just ease. Back in the day when you would have to hold the revive and then you let go at the last second, your friend's roasting you, that was the worst type of crap. And this sort of fixes that. Reset building choice on. I want to go through all this because there was a thing where it was resetting everyone's settings. So some people were forgetting some of their settings. I was forgetting some of my stuff, so I had to go through and deal with this. So yeah, you want turbo mode on. I have my controller auto run as off. I have cross platform on. Auto open doors, I have that one off, just because usually in situations you want to manually operate the door, because there's just so many different layers to that. Confirm edit on release on. Auto pick up weapons, I have that one off just because you don't want to be picking up everything early game. But auto sort consumables to the right, yes, I do have that one on. That is one that was sort of a life changer. It was a game changer when they added that. Really, really happy they added that whenever it was, months ago. The rest of this stuff here, what else do I have to look at? Vibration I have off, and I talked about that quite a bit basically, where just vibration off is something that I turned vibration off probably years and years ago when I was playing Call of Duty, and it does make a difference. I know there's some people that play religiously with vibration on, and I used to be someone that played with it like that, but once I started playing with vibration off and realizing, hey, most professional players use it like this because, I mean, you want the least amount of randomness or extra factors as possible, right? And that's just my mentality on that. I don't think it really matters. It's whatever you're more comfortable with. The rest of this stuff is pretty self-explanatory. Controller, edit, hold time. You want to have it on something where you don't have to hold. So you don't want to have your edit button on the same as your build. That's why I use it with the left stick. Some other people do the touchpad, or some people do, what do they do? Right on the D-pad. A bunch of different things. Left on the D-pad. But that's just what I rock with. And that's it as far as all the settings go. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully this did help you guys out. Once again, these are my personal settings. I suggest, given these are pretty standard settings, give these a try. If you find sensitivity is a little too low, builds a little too low, edits a little too low or a little too fast, you can slow or speed things up. And creative mode is definitely, when you make adjustments, don't just hop back into a normal game. Spend time in creative mode practicing with them and working on them before you're comfortable enough to go into a normal game, and then it becomes sort of second nature or muscle memory, I guess you could say. Thanks for watching though. Drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new. If you made it to the end of the video, I really do appreciate it. I'll catch you on the next one, and that's about it, and I'm out. Peace.